Let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin and my second favorite genius on the planet. Okay, Michael Saylor, the guru of Bitcoin, right? And I mean, look, I read everything that he says. I truly consider him a genius when it comes to at least Bitcoin anyway. Not every crypto or shitcoin, but Bitcoin for sure. This guy is absolutely the guru of Bitcoin, or has become so, by mortgaging his company to the tune of billions of dollars and just buying Bitcoin. In fact, there is a Japanese company and another company, American company, who are going much smaller, levels, but who are going exactly the way he's going. They're putting their company assets, whatever cash they have, into Bitcoin. Why? Well, we talked about what Fed does. We talked about, you know, um, inflation, and we talked about your fiat currency, the dollars were not worth being shit. That you're losing 67% of value of your $100 bill every single year. Well, Bitcoin is kind of an inflation hedge, right? There's a finite amount of it. You cannot make more of it. Okay. I mean, the only risk I see at this moment, I used to think government would be the risk, regulation would be risk, but that's out now, because in this part, he's talking about the acceptance of those Bitcoin ETFs that BlackRock and Fidelity and Grayscale and ARK Investments are bringing in, and then money is pouring in. I mean, the public is pouring money into these funds. In a month, these funds receive billions and billions of inflows, right? So in fact, uh, Bitcoin ownership in those funds, combined with the corporate ownership, such as PayPal and MicroStrategy, these outfits, the ETFs, MicroStrategy, PayPal, and a couple other outfits, have at the moment own 1 million Bitcoin, and he called that, right. I think he called that, what did he call it? Nakamoto, one Nakamoto. So Nakamoto comes from Satoshi Nakamoto, who supposedly, nobody knows who he is, but who supposedly is the inventor of the blockchain. And what a system. I mean, if that guy is it, and one day he comes out, I sure hope when he invented this thing, he pocketed about a couple of million Bitcoin at zero cost. I don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, there are rumors, obviously, but so he called it the one Nakamoto moment, meaning 1 million Bitcoin owned by these top 3 Bitcoin holders, right? ETFs. BlackRock now is the largest holder of Bitcoin because it's the ETF, right? So public is pouring in money, and then they're just going and buying Bitcoin. So BlackRock owns 287,000 Bitcoin, Fidelity at 161,000. This is as of last week. I'm pretty sure it's going to be higher next week. ARK Invest 48,000. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy owns 214 or 15,000 Bitcoin, right? And he keeps buying. And when the money comes into these funds, they have to immediately go buy Bitcoin, the physical Bitcoin. And that's what's happening. And public is able to kind of buy themselves actually an inflation hedge themselves, right? And so they're just going and buying it, and money is pouring in. Um, some people are talking about Bitcoin is going to 1 million. I mean, it could, right? If public keeps buying and there are no sellers, like we talked about supply and demand, there is finite supply. There's 21 million of these things. There is no more. And now tomorrow, if it comes out, somebody says, "Oh, I'm just creating another, 10 million Bitcoin," then we're in big trouble, and the thing will go to, nowhere. I mean, to zero probably. I don't know. But at the moment, for 15 years, it hasn't been able to hack. It hasn't been able to take over. I mean, we know IRS got hacked. This thing is continuing. Even if all the computers, all the nodes that are connected to the blockchain go down simultaneously, there's like a global power outage, right? All it will do is it will just go to sleep, like with all the computers. And when the computers come back to life, it'll pick up where it left off. And every single transaction is recorded on that blockchain. I mean, what a system. This guy figured out, if he's real, Satoshi Nakamoto. So he says this is going to keep happening. That's why Bitcoin is consolidating between 63 and 70,000, right? It's not going down. We know that. It's not going up either, but on every consolidation, we talked about this on technical analysis. Every consolidation ends how? How does it end? That way. Okay. After a major move that it took 30,000 to 70,000, it's just going sideways. And when things like that happen, that's called a continuation pattern in my world on the technical analysis. The fundamental side is a different story, but money is pouring into ETFs, and ETFs are forced to go buy Bitcoin. That's why there's more demand coming in. And if you look at the overall marketplace, right? I mean, Bitcoin is what, at 70,000, 21 million. It's like $1.5 trillion asset. It's nothing. It's nothing. I mean, think about it. Nvidia is almost worth $3 trillion, just a single company. And all of Bitcoin is about $1.5 trillion at 70,000. Think about it. Apple worth 3 trillion, Google worth 2 trillion. We're talking trillions now, right? Amazon 2 trillion, Meta 2 trillion. Just in those 5-6 companies, we're talking $15 trillion, the Magnificent Seven, right? And Bitcoin is only worth $1.5 trillion? No. So if you look at the overall global money supply and how much money is sloshing around, I see Bitcoin going higher, honestly. Is it going to go to 1 million? I don't know. That I can tell. But on the next leg up, I'm pretty sure it's going to hit 110. And I want to be in it when that happens, of course. But I'm just waiting now. I have enough Bitcoin. I'll just wait until it breaks out, and if I'm going to trade, I'll trade it. So I agree with Michael Saylor. I mean, so according to him, 1 Nakamoto was accomplished. So let's see when 2 Nakamoto gets accomplished. More retail pours money into these ETFs, and ETFs go buy Bitcoin, and they have to put it away. I mean, and so the supply is shrinking constantly. Then what, right? When supply shrinks, demand's constant. Remember, we talked about this, not too complicated. Supply, demand, price goes up.